Charles Gardner at the Highbury today with Boro Sucevic, a former coach of the Milwaukee Rampage and local soccer expert. And we're going to talk about the World Cup. We're now a few days into it, and it's just been a fantastic start to the World Cup. And of course, we're going to talk about yesterday's U.S.-Ghana match, which was incredibly exciting. I was here at the Highbury and experienced all of it, from the beer spray to the chanting fans. It was just amazing, and a lot of spirit was shown here. And of course, with the U.S. scoring in the first 30 seconds and then the late game winner by John Brooks, it was an amazing experience. So, Boro, let's maybe start out with John Brooks. Second half sub, he didn't expect maybe even to play in the game, but yet he had a dream a few days before the game that he told his teammates that he thought he had scored an 80th minute game winner on a header. So he missed it by 6 minutes. What do you make of that?
Well, first you got to think it, then you got to believe it, and then if you're given a chance, you got to pull it off. And my God, I mean, you couldn't script this any better. Hollywood couldn't come up with this type of a script. It was absolutely magnificent what happened, and the kid was so ecstatic that for a moment there, I actually thought he was going to pull a Ronaldo in France, the real Ronaldo, when he had a case of nerves before the final. I was like, this kid might have a nervous breakdown and never get up himself. He was just so emotional, and it was such a special moment, and a moment really that we all should remember.
Oh, it was. I thought one of the funny things, Boro, they said they changed his Wikipedia page to say he is the greatest American since Abraham Lincoln. But that was the kind of emotion that was out there. I also like to quote from Michael Bradley, who said he thought that John could come on and make a difference. Tim Howard said how he also played very well as defensively heading the ball. He had a nervous first touch when he came in, but after that he really settled down, and wasn't that a textbook header on the goal? I mean, you couldn't do that any better, could you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Two things there. One is Zusi's cross is world class. That's a great corner. And then, as on many set pieces, size is a huge factor. Right. And, like Germans, we also have really good size in our back line in particular, so that we can use it to our advantage in the set pieces. So at the end of the day, as they say in soccer, especially in World Cup, a lot of the games are decided by set pieces. We use a set piece in the beginning quickly, and we use a set piece at the end. So God bless Jurgen, for, as he indicated, they spent a lot of times at set pieces, as coaches should, and it gave us 3 points. I mean, invaluable points.
You made a good point before we started today, Boro. I thought about Dempsey. He had some creativity on that first goal. His dribbling into the box was magical, was it not?
No, absolutely. I mean, everything about it. I mean, it was a quick throw, great layoff, couple of really neat touches, get himself in position, and he shot early. Now, the boy at the center back really got in center back, sort of got out of the way. He sort of seemed uncertain. Right. Maybe his lack of experience showed. He sort of just kind of drifted out wide. He got sidestepped by Dempsey, but shooting early and accurately, low and hard, brilliant. I mean, what a great goal.
In other words, he didn't take an extra touch that might have got him in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean by early shooting. That there's no hesitancy there. Once he cut it inside, even though he was in his weaker foot, left foot, he took it early, which you're supposed to do. If by any chance he would have shanked it, we had a player at the far post who would have tapped it in anyway. Great play.
Great play. And to start the World Cup, that's a rollicking start to the World Cup for the Americans.
Thank God I was already in my chair, ready to watch the game. Imagine how many people most likely missed that.
Right.
As usual, people are late into the stands or just maybe at the bars. You're looking somewhere else, and there's just a simple throwing. Not much is expected. Next thing you know, it's USA 1-0. Unbelievably.
It was pandemonium here. I can attest to that. It definitely was. Now, Boro, a few minutes later, I think 23rd minute, Josie subbed out with that hamstring injury, and a potential big problem for the U.S. as they go on in this tough Group G with Germany and Portugal as the remaining opponents. So how does this affect the U.S. going forward, and is this just a nightmare blow, or can Klinsmann cope with this? Because the U.S. is really set up in large part for Josie to hold the ball and the offense to work through him, isn't it?
Some of the stuff that I've read and heard is that some of Klinsmann's preparation physically prior to World Cup, that the players were being overexerted in their training preparations and all that might have a part in why there's a couple injuries already. I'm not sure if that's the case. I think in Josie's case, it might be, quite simply, it might be that he hasn't had any competitive minutes, 90-minute games in the Premier League at all, and now he's thrown into a different climate. And it's World Cup, obviously. It's 100% all out. I just think his lack of playing minutes and then having to play at this level now most likely led to that. Now, hopefully it's not for a long time. And now it creates a big-time problem for us as fans, as our country, and also obviously to Jurgen as well. You now have to sort of ask his selection, his 23, and the omittance of some players, and what can he do there? I don't think with the current roster, I don't think he has a way of replacing Josie Altidore. So I think that the best they could do is maybe attempt to play the way Germany currently plays without a target, or maybe play the way Spain kind of plays without a true forward, and see if maybe move Dempsey into that role, and maybe insert Zusi into the lineup. And I'm not sure if that's what he wants to go, because Portugal, obviously, on paper, they have the best player supposedly in Ronaldo. They have a much better team. Everybody viewed us as a weakling in this group. So I'm not sure what Portugal showed. Right. And with the suspension and injuries they have, I'm not sure what Jurgen's frame of mind is going to be. Does he want to play defensively? And then one of those just kind of endure and try to get some joy on set pieces or on a counter-attack? Or does he want to come in and say, well, maybe we're ready to play against a weakened, injured Portugal, not inform Ronaldo. Maybe we can have a go at him and maybe play a little bit more attacking, like what he's been preaching the last 3 years.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, but it'll be interesting what their
approach is. Absolutely. But then again, I'm sure a lot of the fans and media will be questioning his 23, but he made a strong call, and he omitted Donovan as well, and you have to applaud him for that, because he had certain belief in the roster that he was taking to Brazil, and he thought there were certain things he could get out of it, and he has proven himself right, because getting 3 points, how many people here really expected USA to beat Ghana and take 3 points? Right. I mean, let's just give him a chance one more time to see if the roster that he has. Maybe he did take some calculations on that move and say, if Josie does go down, there's a certain way I'll play. He'll reveal it in a couple of days.
We'll find out. We'll find out. What do you make of Michael Bradley? Not the best match for him. Obviously, a key player for the U.S. His touch just seemed to be off. But can we expect that he'll return to form in the game against Portugal?
I certainly hope so, because myself included, we expect so much from Michael Bradley. We know that he really is the engine, box to box, and stuff that he does, winning balls and creating chances, scoring key goals and all that. Michael is such a huge player for us. You expect a lot from him. He certainly under-delivered yesterday. So, but having said that, is a lot of big-time players have under-delivered in the first game already. Right. So let's cut him some slack, and I think what you'll see is Michael Bradley that we know and love, and I think he'll come through for us. I think he will have an absolute great game against Portugal
on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Group G, counted as the group of death, or certainly one of them. What do you make of the entire group with Germany's beatdown of Portugal? And so the U.S. is cheering for Germany to win again, aren't they, against Ghana?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how do you see the group setting up now?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if Germany obviously are the favorite, they're so talented. I think as you look at the World Cup so far, the country that's really playing the beautiful game is actually Germany. Having said that, you might want to question it a little bit later on. Can you play beautifully and win it? But the way Germany is going right now, I think you're probably looking at a fairly easy game for them against Ghana, which will give them 6 points, as expected. And then that game, Portugal versus us, for obvious reasons, now is a must, at least a point. Right. A win would really do us obviously, right?
Ways to draw,
Yeah,
but a win was
Ghana
good.
is in trouble definitely because I don't see how Ghana will score goals. I think their style of play is basically get the ball out wide to the right side and then just whip crosses to a clever forward who can kind of find stuff and head on. But I don't think they have the quality to create any problems the rest of the way. And I think they'll even struggle to score goals. So I think Ghana will be eliminated, obviously. And then heading into that final third round, it could be interesting depending how everything goes.
It really could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've had some incredible developments already in this World Cup. Spain losing 5-1. Nobody saw that coming, I don't think. A nightmare for Iker Casillas. The Dutch rampant in that game. The Van Persie goal, probably one of the best goals so far in the tournament.
Absolutely.
Costa Rica shocking Uruguay and giving CONCACAF a big boost. What are some of your observations from the first few days of the Cup? And obviously, high scoring Cup, which has really captivated the interest of people all around the world, I think.
Well, maybe it's Brazil, and maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the ball. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the color and just enthusiasm and Brazilian people expecting everyone to play and to show something. Maybe it's the magic of Brazil because the teams are really coming in and they're attempting to play. I have not seen a bad game yet. A real bad game.
No, maybe Iran, Nigeria was the word. One of the, but even that had some.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still looking at countries with limitations. Right. Iran, very limited in terms of talent, but big heart, and really playing within a great structures. Queiroz really set them up nicely. Nigeria having some quality players, but not really having any forwards to solve problems, you know, inside the box. Even that game really wasn't a boring game without anything. You know, a point is not a bad result for him either. So, you know, you are right though. That's probably one of the games that could have maybe given a little bit more. But then considering the talent on the field, you really 1-1 was probably a fair result and all that. But you know, getting back to the thing, I think that almost all the coaches and the players, I think more than anything, it's the attitude of the players at the beginning of the game, which is I'm here, I'm in Brazil. Home of Pelé, I want to show that I can play. And players are really giving it their best. And our reward as fans is that we're seeing some really good soccer. We're really seeing some great goals already. Yep. So let's just enjoy. And
what's your favorite goal so far?
Van Persie's goal for sure, because the difficulty, that's a masterpiece. Because the way the ball is played and as it goes behind defense, for him, as he sees it coming over his left shoulder, for him to kind of adjust and all that, and then to deliver, that is a difficult technique. To lap a goalkeeper off of a cross, diving header, that is world-class technique. And the thing that went through my mind instantly was Arsene Wenger's words to Sir Alex Ferguson prior to acquiring Van Persie from Man United from Arsenal, where he said, SirAlex, he's even better than you think. This guy is high quality, absolutely. Yeah. So I think, you know, good for Van Persie, plus he's a Man United fan. Speaking from the heart here, I'm just happy for him personally as well. Great goal, absolutely.
He showed it.
What did you make of that Costa Rica? You know, 3 goals in the second half, and Uruguay really being one of the favorites, playing in South America. A lot of people had them going far in their brackets, probably to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and they still might. But without Suarez, they looked a little bit devoid of ideas, of energy, and here came Costa Rica just flying in that second half.
Yeah, see, my Mason, one of my Masons that does work for me, Chad Hammond, is married to a Costa Rican gal with a 4-year-old son, Dario. And I was really happy for them as a family, and for Dario as a 4-year-old, because that is really a dream for Costa Rica to come away with 3 points in an opening game. That is also tremendous for us, for CONCACAF, that our team are doing well. Hey, guess what? Our region, Mexico, USA, Costa Rica, Honduras could help us out here a little bit.
They didn't play too well.
Absolutely. Honduras needs to step up a little bit. But what about CONCACAF? That was a huge result. On the other side of Uruguay is that, you know, that constant gamesmanship of, is the player ready? Is he not ready? Is he 100%? You have Ronaldo, you have Suarez talking about 100% raring to go. I will show, I will do this, I will do that. And then, as you can tell, the players are not ready.
Right.
So then, Uruguay was a huge disappointment in the game. I also thought their attitude wasn't right as well, approach to the game.
Coach.
And they got punished. They absolutely got punished by a team full of enthusiasm, teamwork, and saying, look, there are no more underdogs in World Cup. There really aren't. The level of the officiating is so much better.
Do you think so?
So far, absolutely brilliant. I think the referees have done a great job. We can scrutinize Fred's dive and all that.
That first game.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, minus the replay, which referee doesn't have, even that call technically could be called. The Serbian ref, in the Portugal game as well, you could even question that. Is a little bit of softness on that, but I would have to say right now,
Pepe red card.
absolutely. But and also on the PK as well a little bit. But yeah, having said that, is that the gamesmanship of the players and the speed that they play, it makes it difficult. But so far, I think the officiating has been tremendous. Probably at 99%. They really have been flawless so far. So they have to be applauded.
The American official, Mark Geiger, did pretty well.
Absolutely.
In his match. I remember
Absolutely.
watching his match.
So now you're looking at Uruguay. They really are in trouble, and if they don't get the result against England,
right.
Then
I was going to say, what about that group? You had called that group the group of death before the tournament started. Now England played pretty well, but lost to Italy. Now you got Uruguay, Costa Rica. What do you see in that group? That's crazy. That might be the craziest group.
Absolutely, and I felt that before the World Cup because I did not anticipate Costa Rica surprising this result, but that itself makes it even more difficult. Like at the moment, if Pirlo and Balotelli, as we talked about in the previous podcast, if they keep playing the way they're playing, good luck. The magical Italians know how to squeeze out results. They're through. They're playing well, absolutely.
How about Pirlo? How can he stay at that level? People
I mean,
about that.
This is Popovich from the Spurs would enjoy a player like this. I mean, it's like Duncan type of performance. I mean, it almost seems irrelevant. Absolutely. It's almost irrelevant. His age is irrelevant because he's so smart and so smooth. You can't pressure him. As you watch the game unfold and everything, as the pressure comes into him, he relieves of playing one touch. If you back off, then he takes a touch or two, and then his passing is just phenomenal. So Italy there is key. England too, as I said, I think they're in trouble. I still think they're in trouble, absolutely, because Rooney's underperforming, and I'm not sure. Do they even keep him in the lineup for the next game? So they're an enigma, really.
And that's got a big game. What, England, Uruguay?
Absolutely,
It will be a big game now.
So will Suarez even play?
Right.
Where is that going to go? So that's really going to create. There's going to be some tense moment in that game because of the familiarity of the players and all that. And so we'll see. Is it Sturridge? Is it Suarez? Does he even play? Someone's leaving.
Right.
Someone's leaving.
Going
Yeah.
out.
And imagine if Costa Rica. Spurs
Can keep going.
puts on a surprise performance and maybe gets a point from Italy. Then what? Then you're really looking at an absolutely crazy group that we all can watch with interest.
It'll be fun. What?
Maybe the last question, Boro, is the goal line technology has been used. We saw it, I think, in the game with France and Honduras, where there was a question. There really hadn't been a question about any goals until that game, but that showed. And is that a great development, do you think?
Absolutely, I think it's long overdue, and I've seen, we've all have seen a number of games in league play throughout the global leagues, and even at the World Cup, there's instances. So it's about time. Right. It's available. We can't go back in time. If we did with goal line technology, you would either make a bunch of Germans happy or a bunch of Englishmen unhappy about that. It wasn't available. It's here. It should be used. Keep going with it because there has to be even more fairness in the World Cup, just for the sake of bringing more democracy in terms of who can win, who cannot win. Big countries versus smaller countries, 4 million versus 300 million.
Right.
So I'm glad it's here.
Could it be used for offside, or is that too problematic?
No, I think we should leave that one alone simply because without the controversy, without the human element, I just don't think you will lose so much of the World Cup. Majority of the talking points will go away. Majority of that, wait till the next World Cup.
Right.
Majority of that sporting hatred that you would develop against the country would disappear. So let's leave that one alone
Leave
because,
that one.
yeah, because it would just really cut into the game, stop and go, and we'd be looking at times 7, 8, 10 minutes of at a time.
That's really adding
yeah,
time.
absolutely. So I think we have to. It's the critical things, like the goal. You know, I mean,
Yep.
if a goal is scored, it really should be acknowledged. That should not be nullified to a human mistake.
Okay, just one last one here. Boro, is just Portugal on Sunday. What do you see for the U.S.?
I see at least a tie for us. I keep talking about the intangibles. I keep talking about the wonderful players that we have in our system, in our national team. Yes, we are limited to what we can do sometimes in terms of offensively, but there is nothing that no USA coach can do anything about that. We don't have the availability of some of these global stars and global talents. We don't have that. But we have what not many people have on this planet. We have that birthright of belief where we think we deserve to win at everything that we do, which is magnificent. And secondly, you have to compare, if you watch the games, if you compare captain of Portugal, Ronaldo, and his attitude and his demeanor and his contribution to the game versus our captain, Dempsey, and his commitment to the game, not only scoring a goal, but the rest of the way. I mean, you're talking about a player that couldn't even breathe and still
his
plays,
nose.
absolutely.
Suffered a broken
So when you
nose.
put all that together and then you have injuries by Portugal, and I'm not sure how fit Ronaldo is or he's even interested, he appeared absolutely disinterested and selfish in the last game. So we'll see where that goes. God bless it stays that way. And, you know, let's hope that we bring the same level of enthusiasm and this wonderful attitude that our players bring on the field. Bring that on, get Bradley to get a little bit more. I'm sure Jurgen will come up. He has a solution. I'm sure he does. He'll come up with a way to replace Josie. I think we have enough for a point or hopefully a win, and then we can really relax and just party on in the third round.
It will be very interesting, and maybe the U.S. will escape this group of death. Boro, thanks so much for your contributions. As always, just tremendous. And be with us next week. We'll talk about that USA-Portugal match as we continue our weekly video roundtable here from Journal Sentinel. And we'll see you then.